Brought to you by Epic Adventure Outfitters.
So the day has finally come. I cannot put up with the lack of power this Mojave has compared to my last Eco Diesel. So you're gonna watch as I hop in the truck and we're gonna drive it down to the Toyota dealer and trade it in for a Tacoma. You didn't think I was really gonna go get a Tacoma, did you? Come on now. I don't even fit in the damn things. So we called our friends over at RIPP Superchargers, and coincidentally, they also think my Mojave is underpowered, made fun of me for at least 15 minutes on the phone. So I was like, can you guys help me? I need to go faster. So they sent this. So they sent us all of these glorious parts to put into the Mojave. Let's take a look at what we got here. Of course, we've got this beautiful satin black powder coated blower that RIPP sent from Vortec. It's got the air filter, all these nice machined and cast parts. We've got the catch can system, so we can keep the oil out of where it shouldn't go. We've got the nice race flux capacitor. That'll help. New injectors, so we can jam more of that economical 91 octane into this motor. Got the nice orange coil packs. You know we only got them because they're orange. I don't know what they do. We've got the massive XL intercooler they came out with, and we had them send it in powder-coated satin black because we think it's going to pull together and build better. Lots of silicone hoses and other hoses and extensions for harnesses. A new belt, pulley, a thermostat housing extension that looked like someone spent an entire weekend on a CNC machine. That is amazing, guys. Diablo Sport tuner so that we can talk to the PCM, which we'll get to shortly because we can't talk to it yet. All in all, this is supposed to make more zoom zoom. We'll see.
I want to know if you want to take it slow. Oh, hop up on my jet and roll to Tokyo.
Because it's a Jeep, we have this luxury of opening it all the way. So rip out the PCM, package it, begrudgingly, because you can't cross the border, ship your package to Florida. So while we patiently await for our PCM to have a nice, lovely vacation, we're going to start tearing this thing apart. No, seriously. Now that we've made room here, we're going to open up the petcock on the rad so we can drain out all the coolant to make it easier to do this install. There you go. We're removing the air pump. Don't need that. Remove the alternator. So now that we've removed 16,000 rubber hoses and gotten coolant everywhere on the floor, we can remove the thermostat housing. So we can put the new one. So here we have the new machined thermostat housing. We've cleaned it all up, cleaned the old gasket. We've applied the sealant that they supplied behind here. Just a quick note to make it a little easier. All the long bolts go in the holes that have the silicone centering retainer. Size this up. now that we just keep throwing out more parts so we don't have to have them in here and we can save miles per gallon of that 91 octane, we now have room to put a supercharger eventually. So we've stripped out the thermostat housing, put in the new thermostat housing. It's all torqued up and good to go. And now we're starting to remove all the coolant lines that were running along the engine. We're going off script since we ordered more parts than the kit normally comes with. We decided to hold off on putting all the coolant lines back together so we don't block the coil packs that we'll have to change anyway. And then we can just remove the intake manifold from the vehicle.
Ooh, can I have that?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, Sean.
One of these. Hi.
We've already loosened and unplugged all of our coils. So we're gonna pull out our coils. So you can see, these are the factory coils. We're gonna replace them with these nice Hemi orange high performance coil packs from RIPP. But before we do that, we got to pull out all the spark plugs. We've pulled out all the spark plugs. We were thinking of just gapping them, putting them back in, but we decided to order in brand new NGK Iridium plugs as recommended by RIPP. So we're waiting for those to arrive. But in the meantime, we're going to pull out the fuel rail, which we have previously undone. That shit. So, smells lovely in here. So we have a fuel rail here with all the injectors. Basically, you just want to be careful with them. When you pop them out, keep them clean. You can put them back in the nice case they gave you with the new injectors. So we've got the new injectors here. They look almost identical. That's good. We're just going to use a little bit of dielectric grease on the O-rings so they go in nicely. And then you just put them back in the same orientation they came out. Just like that. Now I just gotta do it 5 more times. So this is the Champion plug we pulled out. It is actually a Iridium plug. These are the new NGK Iridium 4 plugs we decided to pick up because RIPP recommends them. We also made sure these are gapped according to what RIPP's instructions say, 0.032, and Landen's installing them now. These are a gorgeous coil. The fact that they're orange is just a bonus. We're wrapping it up today. We've got all the spark plugs back in, properly gapped, installed, and torqued. We've got all the new coil packs on. As you can see, those really nice orange coil packs in there. We've got all the fuel rails swapped over, all tightened back down, torque plugged in. Everything's good to put the intake back on. You don't really remember where this goes, we're just going to do that. After a little bit of swearing and reading the instructions multiple times, we've managed to route all the coolant lines where they want to go, and they're all secured in their new homes. We're now on to the next step where we're going to be pulling off the idler pulley and getting down into the nitty-gritty. We start putting on the cool parts. So while I went to get this nice ice cap and non-paper straw, Landen continued. So he's now gotten in the tensioners relocated. You're not using this factory tensioner, it is omitted. You have a new one down here. We've relocated the idler pulley to a different location and added the belt in, started to secure some coolant lines. So now we're gonna start putting back in the alternator and the other parts. come now to the point at which we're gonna shove this giant blower into this Jeep. Looks like a lot of room, doesn't feel like a lot of room. So we now have the Supercharger nicely nestled in its own home. He went in with a bit of a fight, but he fits perfectly after we figured out how it goes. Now we've marked off all the spots of the rad support and stuff that needs to move so we can put the massive intercooler in. And we can do the fun stuff. Okay, so we're starting to actually make some headway here. After hours of intricate filleting of the rad support, we were able to fit this massive intercooler in here. We've now mounted up the new catch can system. Mounted it a little different than the instructions say because this is a Gladiator and it's a little bit different in here than in a JL. Just because you're doing the catch can does not mean you don't do the PCV valve or bad things will happen. So we have both. It's all neatly routed. We've relocated both the horns to both sides of the vehicle. And next we're going to be getting ready to put this giant fan back in, but first we're gonna have to cut more stuff off it. So we're just finishing up a bit more things here. We've put on the outlet to the Supercharger. We're always making sure to keep it covered, not to get any debris inside it. Any trim panels we could put back on so everything looks quite factory, we have done. We are basically ready to almost crown this thing with this nice filter. Look at that. Put that hose in. So before we did the Supercharger, we were running with a Taser Mini so that we could do the proper gearing and tire size and all the other features the Taser Mini has. It will no longer work with the Supercharger, so we have to pull out the Taser Mini and in its place put the Power Tech module as a security bypass, and then we can get into the programming stages. Action.
All right, man, talk to us about the power. What's the power like with this RIPP Supercharger?
Well, when it kicks in, you better be holding on, that's for sure. Because you accelerate a lot faster and better be prepared to brake a lot sooner.
All right, talk to us about the sound of this thing.
The besides the fact that it scares children and you always hear them crying in the distance, it sounds so mean. It does not sound like a V6 under the hood. It was actually shocking when we first drove it. I did not expect that kind of sound. I expected the supercharger whine, but just the dump valve and the air intake for the amount of air that sucks in, it's quite addictive to keep pushing the foot on the gas for no reason. So if you're looking for an exciting drive in your Jeep lifestyle, this is it. So here, you're looking at one of, if not the only, 2021 supercharged Gladiator Mojaves. And let me tell you, it is a blast to drive from gas station to gas station. So this all started with a small idea I had in my head many months ago, which we'd hope had been solved a lot sooner, but COVID kind of got in our way. But I thought the Mojave was a perfect platform for us to finally test out RIPP Supercharger. I think the fact that we got all of the parts powder coated satin black really brought it all together. It really suits the style of the build. Previously already owning a 3.6 liter JL and an eco diesel JL, I knew it was going to be an uphill battle for me to be able to enjoy driving this the same way I enjoyed driving the last eco diesel. But I can tell you, if you want to have an exciting drive, this is definitely it. So in the coming weeks, we're going to be doing basically torture testing to this thing. We're almost through break-in, so we can change the oil in the supercharger. There'll probably be a few tuning adjustments over the coming weeks. And then once we're all good to go and happy with how everything is going, we're going to have packages available for anyone that wants to have their Gladiator or JL supercharged by RIPP Superchargers out here on the West Coast. If your driving has gotten a little flaccid lately, RIPP Superchargers has the blue pill that'll help you fix that. And trust me, your wife will be so satisfied when done. And if she isn't, send her down.
Thanks for following along. Be sure to subscribe for more epic adventures.